This conference will now be recorded.
Right, let's start today's session. In the last session of Python, we were discuss about different types of variables which are allowed in Python object-oriented programming class. Okay, so as per class definition, class is a collection of variables and methods. Class is a collection of variables and methods, and we discussed about three types of variables in the last session, like instance variables, that is also called as object level, static variables, that is also called as class level, local variables, that is also called as method level. And in today's session, how we discuss three types of variables in Python class, same we have to discuss about three types of methods also, sir. So types of methods I'm going to discuss now. Okay, three types of methods. So what type of methods are there? We'll see. First, let's write here. These are the three types of variables. Instance variables. Next, static variables or class level variables, instance variables or object level variables, local variables or method level variables. Now let's discuss about types of methods. So three types of methods are allowed in Python class. Three types of methods are allowed in Python class. First type of method is instance methods. Instance method. Next, class methods. Next, static methods. Just observe, in the context of variables, static variables and class level variables are same, sir. But when it comes to methods, static methods and class methods are different, sir. Okay, this you have to notice. In the context of variables, static variables or class level variables both are same. Either we can call static variables or class level variables. But in the context of methods, class methods different, static methods different. Okay, so we discussed already instance variables, static variables, local variables. Okay, once I complete this three types of methods, I will give you more options with static variables again. Let's clear it this. We'll talk about methods now. So generally, which type of method is called instance method? Okay, first we'll discuss about instance method. It's very simple, sir. Point number one. Inside the method implementation, when we use instance variables, inside the method implementation, when we use instance variables, then such type of methods are called instance methods. Simple. So which type of methods are called instance method means inside the method implementation, when we use instance variables, then such type of methods are called instance methods. So next point, while declaring instance methods, while declaring instance methods, while declaring instance methods, we should pass self. Okay, compulsory we should pass self, sir. So self is the first parameter of instance methods. Self is the first parameter of instance methods only. While declaring instance method, we should pass self. Self is the first parameter of instance methods. Self is the first parameter of instance method only. So using self only, we can access instance variables inside the instance methods only. So how to access instance methods generally? So we can access instance methods within the class. We can access instance methods within the class by using self. Next, we can access instance methods outside of the class by using object reference. Okay, this is the case. So these are the important related points to instance methods. So we'll see practical program. So inside the method implementation, when we use instance variables, then such type of methods are called instance methods. While declaring instance methods, we should pass self, sir. Self is the first parameter of the instance methods. We can access instance methods within the class by using self. We can access instance methods outside of the class by using object reference method. Okay, let's see the program. Object oriented programming 9. So this is instance method programs are. So first let's create a class. I'm creating a class called student class. Inside the student class, I'm creating constructor. You know about constructor. What is constructor? INIT. And constructor is having some parameters M1, M2, M3. This is marks 1, marks 2, marks 3 only. This is M1 is an instance variable, M1 is a parameter. So this variable and this parameter no need to be same. We can take these parameters any other names also. Self.m2 equals to M2. Self.m3 equals to M3. So these are instance variables. Those who attend last session, you understand that, okay? So M1, M2, M3 are instance variables only. Inside the constructor, we can declare instance variables also. Now I want to calculate average marks of the student only. So let's create average method. But this AVG method is not a built-in method. It's our user-defined method, sir. Okay, it's an user-defined method only. It is average method. It's not a built-in method. Okay, so you can take any name of the method. But this method is what actually instance method. Simply you can identify the instance method. Whenever we declare a method with a self, that is called instance method. And moreover, inside the instance method, we have to declare instance variables. We have to access instance variables like. So that type of method is called instance method only. So I'm going to create this method for finding average of student marks. So I want to return the result to the calling place. So I want to find average of student marks. Self.m1 plus self.m2 plus self.m3 plus self dot, that's it, m3 only, m3 by 3 only. This is average calculation, you know that. So let's create objects to the class. S1 equals to student. See, as soon as when we create object to the class, constructor will execute, sir. When constructor executing, constructor is having a parameters like m1, m2, m3. If constructor is a method, a special method, we can say, if method is having parameter, obviously parameters are input values or not. So we should supply input values to the constructor only, m1, m2, m3. So marks 1 means like I'm giving 67, marks 2 89, marks 3 98. This is student 1 details. S2 equals to student 2 details also I'm passing. 87 marks 1, 64 marks 1, and 88 marks 2. So two objects I created. For every object, constructor is going to execute once, and constructor parameters are holding 67 here, 89 here, 98 here. This 67 will be assigned to here, this 99 will be assigned to here, this 98 will be assigned to here. So actually this M1, this M2, this M3 are instance variables. These M1, M2, M3 instance variables I'm using where? In this method. So this method is called what? Instance method only. So inside this method implementation, when we use instance variables, then since that type of method is called instance method. While declaring instance method, we should pass self. Self is the first parameter of the instance method. We can access instance method within the class using self.avg. Whenever you want, you can access it. Or if you want to call this method outside the class using object reference only. So right now I'm calling this method outside the class only by using object reference s1.avg, s2.avg. Now tell me what output you're expecting. Tell me. Output will come or not? Just tell me. Will you get output or no? Not. Why? Why don't you get? Yes, print statement is not available at the time of calling the function line number 14 and 15 only. Because you are calling the function, okay, but you are calling the function is working with m1, m2, m3 by 3, but function result value is returning to the calling place or not. When we return the value in the calling place, print is missing. We are not printing the values. That's what you don't get any outputs are had. So that's the reason you will not get any output. Let's run this one, object oriented programming 9 program. So you don't get any output here. So we have to use print only, sir, because function is returning the value to us, but we have to print that. Now here I'm taking print s2.avg here, s2.avg. So let's run this. Now you can see student 1 average marks is 84.66, student 2 average marks is 79.66. Even in case if we don't want to print here, so simply in the function itself we can use print function instead of return statements only. Here I'm not going to use return, I am going to use print only. This is also possible, sir. Why return statement generally means if you want to store the average value into separate variable and further usage or later usage, we can use return statement. Otherwise, not required. Let's run the same output you are going to expect. So this is instance method example. But instance method where I'm accessing, sir? Outside the class. But as I said that we can also access instance methods within the class or not by using what? Self only. Let's try with that. Right now, I am going to give comment section on line number 14 and 15. How to give comment? Control forward slash. So automatically commented. Now I want to call this average method inside the class. So better to call inside the constructor as soon as when constructor executed, that average method also I need to call. So using self only we can call instance method within the class, sir. Because within the class self only will work. Object will not work. So self.avg. So now you can see when we create object to the class, constructor will execute, and constructor is taking this parameter input values, and after us initializing, we are calling what immediately? Average method. So average method we are calling and printing here. So here only we are calling. So this is also possible, sir. Once we execute, same output you are going to get. So this is instance method example. So finally, how to recognize instance method, sir? A method with self. And inside the method implementation, we have to use instance variables like m1, m2, m3. This is called what? Instance method only. So you can easily recognize the instance method, not a problem. Okay. So let's comment this one. Let's call this methods outside the only. So let's outside the method. So this is instance method example. So next we'll go for class methods are. So each and every point important, strictly remember. So class method. So class methods are very rarely used methods. but most oftenly used methods in Python object-oriented programming, especially class. Instance methods are oftenly used methods, as well as static methods also oftenly used methods. But class methods are very rarely used methods. So let me talk about class methods also. Point number one. Class methods are very rarely used methods. Class methods are very rarely used methods. Next, inside the method implementation, when we use only class level or static variables, same or no? Class level variables or static level variables are same. Class level or static variables, then such type of methods are called class methods. Inside the method implementation, when we use only class level or static variables, then such type of methods are called class methods only. Next, while declaring class methods, we should pass CLS. We should pass class variable, that is what? CLS. While declaring class method, we should pass class variable, that is CLS. CLS is the standard name, how like self, but the name CLS is not compulsory. In place of CLS, we can use any name also, but recommended is CLS only. That is better usage. So this is a class method clearly. But next, CLS is the first parameter of the class method only. CLS is the first parameter of the class method. So using CLS only, we can access class or static variables within the class methods. Now, how to access class methods means we can access class methods by using class name only. Sir. So this is class method. Even we can use object reference also, but recommended is class name through we can access, sir. So we can access class methods by using class name. These are the important points related to class method. But most important thing is, by default in Python object-oriented programming, inside the class, all methods are instance methods only. By default in Python object-oriented programming class, all methods are by default, what methods are? Instance methods only. Okay, instance methods. But I need to create our method is class method. So how to create a method as class method means, just see this. To create a method as class method, we use @ of class method decorator. To create a method as class method, then we use @ of class method decorator. So wherever you observe in Python programming, @ symbol, okay, that is called decorator concept. In upcoming session, we will understand how to prepare our own decorators clearly. So right now, I need to make my method as class method. So that's what I'm using. Class method decorators are here. Okay. So easily we can recognize a method is class method or instance method. So the method which is having or which is associated with class method at the rate of decorator, that method is a class method simply. So easily you can recognize. Okay, let's create a class method only. But to create class method, first of all, I need to include in the class level variable only, because inside the method implementation, when we use class level or static variables, then such type of method is called class method. But there is no class variable, so let's try to include class method, class variable, static variable, institute, that is Durgasoft I'm using. This is my static variable or class level variable only. Okay, static or class level variable it is. So now I'm going to prepare in this class one method called M1 method. This is class method I want to create. But right now at this moment, M1 method is a instance method only, sir. Why? Because the method which is having self only. But let's try to create CLS. Now tell me what type of method it is, M1 method now? What type of method it is? Is this class method or instance method? It is a instance method, not class method. Okay. It doesn't mean that because of we have included CLS here, class method. Because as I said that, so in place of self, we can use any name, sir. So here CLS is acting as a self only. That's what it is, a instance method only. But when it will become this method as class method, compulsory on the top of this method, like we have to use at the rate of class method decorator. Now you can see this is the decorator's thing. Now this time it is become a class method. Got my point? So by default in object-oriented programming, every method is a instance method only. But if you want to make the method as class method, compulsory at the rate of class method is decorator is required. No matter here what type of variable. But while declaring class method, generally we use CLS, but the name CLS is not required. Now tell me this method is what method right now? It's not meaning of self because of it is instance method. No, it's still class method only. Yes, class method, because self is act as a CLS only. Got my point? So only you have to recognize whether this method is class method or not by using this decorator only. Don't look at this here, what is there. But here self is acting as a CLS only. But better to recommend CLS only here. Because using CLS only, we can able to access what? Uh, class level variable or static variables only. Using CLS only, we can access. Now I'm going to access here. Print CLS dot institute. This is class level variable, static variable. So this method is called what method? Class method only. Generally, how to access class method? By using class name, it is recommended. So student dot M1 method is a class method. Let's run this. We are getting output clearly. Class method through we are accessing class level variable or static level variable. So this is about important related points to class method. But class methods are very rarely used methods. Even if you want to ignore, you can ignore also. But most oftenly used methods are instance method, as well as third method is there, no, static methods. Let's try to discuss about static methods now. So static methods. See, static methods are general utility methods. Okay, what are the static methods means? Static methods are general utility methods or general usage methods. As a programmer, we can prepare our own method with any name, with any purpose. Okay, this type of methods are called static methods. But make sure that while declaring static methods, we should not pass any self or CLS. So no self, no CLS. While declaring instance method, we should pass self. While declaring class method, we should pass CLS. But while declaring static method, no self, no CLS. Other than the self and CLS, if you want, you can give your own variables or parameter names. So static method, if it is required, you can include parameters, or not required, you don't include parameters, no problem. But it should not be have self or CLS only. But how to create static methods in Python means to, to make to make a method as static, then we use again decorator concept is there. At the rate of static method decorator compulsory sir. So we can easily recognize a method is static means at the rate of static method decorator through we can recognize easily. So recognition of static method and class methods are very simple because decorator through we have given heading clearly. But instance methods, how to recognize a method which is having self, and inside the method when we use instance variable, that is called instance method. A method which is having a decorator at the rate of class method, that is called class method. A method which is having at the rate of static method, that is called static method. So static method declaration time, no need to pass any self or CLS. If you pass a self with method, that will become a instance method. If you pass CLS to the method while declaring, that is become a class method. So these are the general utility methods, we can say that. So these methods can be created by programmer as per their own requirement. They can implement any logic inside these methods only. Let's flip to program. I'm including one static method in this program. So def m2 method I'm taking. So this method is right now what actually instance method only. I'm printing here just hello, but I want to make this method as what static method. So at the rate of static method decorator is required. But while declaring static method, no self, no CLS, no method or no parameters here. If you want to take any parameters, your own parameters, you can take, no problem. Okay, that is not an issue. But I'm not taking any parameters here. So I need to call this static method either by using class name or by using object reference name also. So let's call this method using object reference name like s1.m2 only. So once I run this, you'll be able to get static method execution output also we are getting. Oh, int object is not callable because s1 is having reference of integer only. It's sorry, sir. Just wait a minute. So better to go for class method only because why s1 through we are not calling, because s1 is having some reference here. That's what int object through we are not calling this method. Otherwise, we can use object reference also. Student dot m3, sorry m2, m2 only. So now this time we are calling the static method. So directly it is coming hello. Even we can pass any values also. For example, I'm taking add method here. Add. So add method is having two parameters. So these two parameters I'm taking here. So sum a plus b a1. While calling this method, we have to supply two parameters values. So static method can have our own parameters, no self, no CLS. Now you can see, oh, give me m2 not actually add method. It's my mistake. Method name should be same, no calling time. Yeah. Now you can see sum is 30 value here. So this program we can look at once here, including inside this method, everything I included here. So static variable, class level variable, instance variables, m1, m2, m3. Like this is what actually local variables is not there, no problem. Here instance method constructor. This is instance method, class method, and static method. So class is a collection of variables and methods in Python. So we discuss about all three types of variables and all three types of methods only. Now once we got the method clarity, like static methods, class methods, and instance method. Now today I'm going to discuss now about static variables. In the last session we discussed about static variables. The variables which is declared outside the methods inside the class is called static variables. And static variables we can able to access throughout the class, and for static variables throughout the class only one copy will be maintained. If you change or delete static variables, other copies will be automatically affected. Already we discussed. Now today I'm trying to discuss one more example with static variables. How many places or where we can able to access or consume static variables. And also how to delete the static variables I'll discuss now. Because once we have an idea about instance methods, class methods, static methods, so in all these methods we can able to access static methods, static variable. Because static variable is a class level variable, no? Now let's try to give an example. So the example is what actually, where we can access static variables. Okay, point number one. Inside the constructor, we can access static variable by using self or class name. Anyone you can use that. Once we declare static variable, we can access that inside the constructor by using self or class name. Next, inside the instance method, by using self or class name. Here also we can access static variables. Third one, inside the class methods by using what? CLS or class name. Next, fourth one, inside the static method, we can access static variables by using what's our only class name. Why? Because static method don't have any self or any CLS. Finally, outside of the class, we can access static variables by using object reference or class name. This is the 5 places we can able to access static variables are. Static variables means class level variables. Once we declare the variables at class level, that we can able to access inside the constructor, inside the instance method, inside the class method, inside the static method, outside the class, with different style. So inside the constructor, you can also use self or class name. Inside the instance method, we can use self or class name. Inside the class method, using CLS or class name. Inside the static method, using class name only, because static method don't allow any self or CLS. Outside of the class by using object reference or class name only. Let's try to give an example. Now let's create a class. Class name is test. A equals to 10. This is what variable? Static variable or class level variable. So I'm trying to access this class level variable inside the constructor, sir. So this is what inside the constructor. How to access? By using self.a, by using class name.a. Yes, test.a. This is inside the constructor. Next, inside the instance method. This is instance method only, no? Method with self. Yes. Now you can see method with self. Inside the instance method. How we can access static variable? By using self.a, by using class name.a only. Inside the instance method, we can access this static variable using class name or using class method object using self or using class name. Let's copy and paste this method. I want to make class method. How do we make this method as class method? Class method decorator is there. So inside the class method, using what actually? Self. Self is working because self is act as a CLS. So let's change CLS or class name. Next, I'm taking one more method. This is M2. Sir, here M2, sir, because M1 already there above. Here M3 I'm taking. This is M3. This method is what actually? Static method I want to make. How do we make this method as static method? Static method decorator. So inside the static method, no self, no CLS, only class name through. Next, I'm trying to create object. So first let me call when we create object to the class, constructor will execute. Next M1 method I'm calling. M2 method I'm calling, M3 method I'm calling. Finally, it is outside of the class we can access static variable outside of the class. Outside of the class, how to access? Print t dot variable name, print class name dot variable name. So these many places we can able to access static variables are. This is the static variable. That means class level variables. We can access them inside the constructor using self or class name, inside the instance method using self or class name, inside the class method using class CLS or class name, inside the static method using class name only. Outside of the class, we can use object reference or class name. Let's run this. We got this accessibility of static variable clearly, sir. So we get all the ways. Okay. So this is accessibility of static variable where we can access clearly. Okay, all the possibilities I just shown. Now finally, how to delete instance variable? Yes, sorry, how to delete static variables? We can delete static variable. We can delete the static variable. We can delete the static variable anywhere by using the following syntax. By using this syntax. Okay, by using this syntax. Syntax means delete means del. So class name dot variable name. Class name dot variable name. Del space class name dot variable name only. Del is a keyword. Class name is what actually here. This is variable name. So you can use this syntax anywhere, sir. Inside the constructor we can use, inside the instance method we can use, inside the class method we can use, inside the static method we can use, outside the class also you can use, anywhere you can delete. This is the common syntax to delete static variables, sir. Let's try to delete somewhere here. Suppose if I try to delete after constructor here, del space class name dot a. If I do like this, what will happen? Line number 8, this static variable a is deleting. Once here line number 8 static variable is deleting, then it's not available on M1 method, M2 method, and further methods. So you'll see this only constructor through we are getting static variable values printing. After that M1 method, when we try to call, immediately we got error. So inside the constructor only it's working. When it comes to inside the instance method, immediately error is coming because we deleted static variable definition, but you are trying to use inside the instance method, inside the class method, and more. So that's not available. Okay. So wherever you want, you can delete it, no problem at all. So this is the way to delete the static variable here. Let's cut this. I'm deleting static variable after calling the methods. So after calling the methods means M1, M2, M3 after here I'm deleting. So outside of the class, you will get error. Inside the constructor will get, inside the instance method you will get, inside the static method you will get everything. But outside of the class, there is attribute error is there. So this is about instance variables, static variables, class level variables, local variables, and 3 types of methods like instance method, static method, class method, everything. So this is whatever I given in the introduction of object-oriented programming class definition. Class is a collection of variables and methods. These many types of variables and methods we can able to include inside the class only. Once you have an idea about this, so that next we'll go for object-oriented programming features like encapsulation, polymorphism, inheritance, abstraction, and moreover types of inheritances also there. But before that, I'm going to discuss few more topics like garbage collector, how it will work, and what is the destructor role in that, and how to manage inner class, outer class mechanism. After discussion, this will starts with encapsulation clearly. So that's we'll discuss in tomorrow session. Today's session is this is. That's all for my side. If you have any question, you can ask me now. Yeah, Mr. Mayur, tell me. Sir, can we able to change it or assigning value of uh, class variable outside of the class by object reference? Look at here. You are trying to change, no? Yeah, look at here. T dot a equals to a is the what is that static variable? 99 I'm saying. Once I run this, now just observe here. Instance method, class method, everything is there. But look at here. I'm trying to change object reference through here t dot a only. But this affecting only on t reference only, not class reference only. Got my point? This we can change. Happily we can change, no problem. But only on this object level only it will affect. Instance level only will affect. Class level will be same only because you are maintaining class through. So a is 10, but here it is what 99. It's possible. But whenever we try to do change like this tester.a class name through, which will affect everything. Now we can see both 99 is going to display. Possible. Okay. Yeah. So that's all for now. See you tomorrow, sir.